whole play style, because like some people like to play aggressive. Like you want to play aggressive with the other character, you can do that too, but you just got to remember that you counterpicked at the same time. Like you got to remember like where they're good at being aggressive, not where like, you know, your other character necessarily is, you know. Like you got to like, if it makes sense, you just got to like play, you got to adapt just enough to the point where you can not like force your game plan on other people, but to the point where you can just keep playing the way you want to with a different character, if that makes any sense. But either way, yeah, winners finals. We got Rivers. We got RTS.
Anyway, yeah, winners finals, guys.
Yeah, my bad. I kind of cut that a little bit too close to the cuff. I apologize.
No, that's all good because
just gotta remember what my dad always told me and learn when to shut up.
Honestly,
that was a joke. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
But a very well kept lesson.
Yeah, but a very well kept lesson indeed. Clearly, I'm not listening enough to him.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, we're
here to talk, and I guess RTS is here to really make a statement because after a really good start from Rivers, able to turn that into some good neutral interactions and finishing off with a limit cross slash, some classic Diddy-isms right here up until that banana into forward smash. Sometimes you get your opponent to a real deep red percent, and you get to look at him and think, all right, if they don't get hit by a banana here, I have no idea how I'm taking this stock.
Yeah, and I would imagine that Rivers used to do this matchup quite a bit, actually. I mean,
so.
I would hope so as well, because I don't remember him doing the Diddy Ditto often against Tweak back in like the old Platinum Star locals. Again, that's another salute right there. It's a lot of salute. Dude, it's a lot. Mike, I don't even mean to do it. It's just happening. Either way.
2023 is a weird year.
Sometimes the Cloud would come out or the Sephiroth, and that's like pretty much among the highest levels of that character you can really get. So I imagine that Rivers definitely has some experience, and now we're going to see what RTS could do against one of the finest Diddies in the business to do it. That down tilt into the forward there, though, that's a classic way to get things started right here on this second stock of RTS right now.
Gotta keep in mind though, RTS was able to find a reverse 3-0 over Sensei, so this first game might look rough, and it's definitely looking like it's going to end in Rivers' favor, especially with that forward tilt 2-frame, or even if it wasn't the 2-frame hitting below the ledge and no jump. Cements game 1 to Rivers. But RTS is someone who's willing to play the long game, if we've seen anything, and willing to just steadily find their way back into these games through means of gathering information and letting it pay off at the end, whether it be with the Cloud or with the Lucina that he's really contemplating here now and choosing to go for it.
Okay. Interesting choice right here, because I feel like Cloud, you know, Cloud can commit. Cloud can commit a little hard against Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
A lot of whiff neutral airs can like lead into some pretty great combos, but if they're whiffed, like I just mentioned, you know, Diddy can get huge punishes on that, especially off of the mid-range. This is going to be a little bit more about finesse. This is going to be more about like spacing, like in the CQC, in the mid-range right here, as opposed to Cloud being like the sort of neutral monster, comeback mechanic, you know, like space back air, like a crazy long-range character that he is. Lucina is long-range too, but she does not play the same way as Cloud. Like I said, she's a little bit more about that finesse, not as much as her counterpart Marth, of course, with the tippers, but enough with that base knockback, or just the base knockback of the sword, where in the center, or in the mid-range I should say, Nares is going to spell a lot more damage depending on how accurate or poised RTS's spacing is going to be in this game.
I think the major difference, especially when it comes to playing into a character like Diddy Kong, is you have access to safer ways of pressure with things like down air and forward air not only being like really big moves, but also you don't have to leave the ground to apply mid-range spacing, like down tilt, forward tilt, up tilt. Like these are big coverage moves that allow RTS to always have access to shield and a wide variety of coverage and punishing moves, like with that neutral air closing on the stock, only to get immediately swept up by the down tilt up smash from Rivers, taking it right back and bringing us to a 2-stock apiece game. Yeah,
not to mention that the timing on certain things Lucina does doesn't always have to be like as precise. Like, you would think that it would honestly be the opposite, but like, we actually got that first stock on RTS with like a nice Diddy up B on the way in, and as counterpart with a neutral air, right? Cloud wouldn't have been able to do that nearly as easily, right? Like, he would have to go like at least a little bit up close or reverse the hitbox or something like that. Lucina, it could be just as hard, but you know, like the spacing is just a little bit different, so maybe it's a comfort thing on the part of RTS, but right now, the ledge trapping is second to none. Diddy doesn't care what character he's doing that to. He'll be able to get it, but a nice wake-up down air to reverse the situation for RTS once again. Oh boy.
Extending neutral air. Oh, that super delayed nair. Able to connect just the top of it before fast falling down. very clean on the part of Rivers, and of course following up immediately with the stock after landing on the platform. Deja vu. We were definitely almost in this place before, seeing the same type of edge guard setup with that monkey flip, but I mean that's another benefit of Lucina, right? You do have a much better recovery.
All right, whipping the neutral air that time, once again, eating the banana. Very smart option on Rivers to just drop ledge and throw it. Why even bother with the hitbox when I still have that projectile in hand? You know he's going to use it. Rivers going for broke right there with that monkey flip off of the level, trying to get some sort of crazy kill, crazy spike off the side of the stage, as he can afford to do since he's up a stock right now. I don't know if that up B was a bait right there, but he's on the platform. Still no middles coming out from RTS right now on the way back in. But now, just as I say that, committing in with the neutral airs, trying desperately to be able to get this kill with all this insurance tacked onto their final stock right now, and it is not coming easy for RTS right now. And it doesn't even have anything to do with Banana. Rivers is just playing very, very well in the Y-axis right now, just jumping on and off the platforms, making sure he's staying just enough out of her range and just enough timing to be able to get that banana out into the confirm. That whole stock was played so well by Rivers. He just did a wonderful job at playing the platform fighter right there. He didn't let himself get stuck into the corner against like the better range of Lucina with the F tilts or the neutral airs or anything. Instead, just did a wonderful job playing on and off of those platforms and only pressing buttons in the face when he knew it was safe or when he had to that time around. That's how he was able to get enough like distance away right in the corner right there to be able to finally get that banana out into the up smash. And it was enough to make the Lucina go away. We got the whistle of death coming right back out, Ubel.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different mentalities and a lot of different immediate responses come out for RTS here as he shifts over to the Wolf, and the Wolf is immediately gone. One of the biggest things that Rivers played around in the previous game was the fact that Lucina is a floaty, and floaties can sometimes have a lot of trouble chasing down mid-air burst options like monkey flip or just generally quick playstyles like how Rivers had been going with a lot of jumping in that Y-axis as you were mentioning. So to immediately counter that idea, we're seeing this amazingly high airspeed in Wolf, but sometimes when you pivot too hard in one direction, you yourself aren't ready for these counter picks you're throwing at. And while throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Rivers is a nice sentiment, you need a really solidified game plan. And Rivers seems so prepared.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what about like Rivers' ability to, you know, adapt to the counter pick? Like, what about him? You got to remember, like, is he going to be able to deal with this at the end of the day? It's definitely not the first Wolf he's played, to say the least. So he's definitely pretty adapted to this matchup. Oh my God!
I genuinely wonder how many Wolves Rivers has played, and in conjunction with that, I wonder how many times he's played against Jackal.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's probably like even played against Jackal like 10 times more than he has combination of different Wolves in bracket at this point.
Who knows?
Probably because like those were also times where he played Jude in bracket. So, like, it just negates itself completely. And actually, interesting DI off of the wall again. That's the second time he got launched into the wall by a move off stage like that. The first time was the monkey flip where he took the stock where Rivers was only at 8. That time actually off of a damn, like, F-tilt again. It's a very interesting option off the level because right now, like you said, it's a whole different ballpark. It's a fast faller. He's playing a lot more grounded this time around, not really intercepting each other's air options. But when you have Banana, that transcendent projectile is only going to matter if you have enough space to really pop it at Diddy, and it's going to help you break the zone. But right now, that's not really working. You see him not even firing it off, just running back in, like trying to stuff out Diddy in the corner once again. That's not going to really do much when this character has a projectile that he can spawn right out of his butt. So that's going to be a 3-0 in the favor of Rivers instead. It's a noble idea with the counter pick, but you got to remember